friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Cher, and welcome to my favorite topic of the month, a video that I do each month and bring to you guys, and that is ranking all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have worn for the month. So today I have 24 palettes that I've worn in the month of May, and we're going to try to rank them, and I will share why I ranked them, what I did. So if that interests you, stick around and we will hop right on in. So hi guys, I am Cher, and I do a lot of fun beauty here on the channel. You'll notice I do a lot of beauty boxes, and some of these palettes did come from beauty boxes. It's a great way to sample beauty. I do the spoilers, the unboxings, the try-ons and reviews for a lot of them, as well as a lot of other like new release makeup and beauty and whatnot. And I love to do vlogs as well. So you'll want to stick around if those things interest you. Now, this is something that I do every month. I got it from the idea from watching my friend Alicia's channel, and which I'll put here, and she was ranking them, and I was like, oh my gosh, how fun would this be to challenge myself to, you know, make sure that I'm using my palettes and everything. I did just bring you guys a big eyeshadow palette declutter. Okay, when I say big, I mean that my eyeshadow palette collection is big, not so much that my declutter was big. But I'm getting there, baby steps. That was only my second declutter ever of eyeshadow palettes, and I'm working through them. So doing this every month and ranking them really does help me kind of see what I use and what I'm inspired by to know if they're palettes that should stick around in my collection or not. So anyway, now I say this every month, but I'll say it again. It seems like my rankings change each month. Sometimes ones that were the top last month might fall to the bottom this month. I kind of just base this on how I'm feeling. And sometimes I'm just inspired differently each month. Sometimes it's based on the season that I'm in, or like how it was used, and I don't know, just the feelings associated with it. Sometimes I also consider how portable it is for travel, how good it is for every day. But there may be other uses too that are like artistic, and is it a really fantastic one artistically? So I try to take like all of the credentials into account when ranking it. And it might rank very differently for some of you guys than it would me. I do tend towards a lot more like soft glam, sophisticated, maybe a little more everyday wearable, but there's a place for each palette too. So just keeping that in mind. But anyway, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Again, just because some are at the bottom doesn't mean they're bad. It's just ranked in comparison to the others and kind of where I'm feeling, what I'm feeling like this month. So let's start at number 24. All right, so we have the MAC Surprise Eyes is the name of this palette. And I've ranked this at the end before too, I think. I've only used this palette a couple times. It was gifted to me by a friend on here. So I really hate that I'm ranking it last, but it's just, these colors in particular are very pretty. I just, you know, it's like, I think I'm just limited on what to make with it. I don't always feel inspired, and I don't always feel very pretty when I wear it. I think that's what it really boils down to. So I wore this, I made that more of the red shade right here. I had on fairly like warm red that day, so I matched my eyes to it. You'll see a lot of like matchy yeah, just I don't know, it's in the very end because it's like I am not drawn to this palette at all to try to make things, even though it's a really pretty like jewel toned, you know, purple and burgundy, but nah. Right, coming in at number 23, I just posted this yesterday, no, day before that, I don't know. I made my little Memorial Day look using this, and you know, I used the red and the blue and the white. Just made a very simple like eyeliner, red, white, and blue, you know, eyeliner on there. I had the white all across the eyes and then blue and red eyeliner around, just for a simple look. And like I did like it, like it worked. It was pigmented. It was fabulous for my little artistic look I was using. But as I mentioned in my declutter video, and I think the last time I ranked this a little lower, again, I just don't reach for it much. I just don't feel super inspired by it. And maybe it's just the position of the colors. It's just very bright. So I need it for artistic looks, but there's just a lot of other palettes that like do very well for my artistic looks that are better than this. So I'm still hanging on to it because it's Juvia's Place and I just got it in a mystery box. I don't want to declutter it already, but I'm gonna keep trying and see what I think. So it's still kind of at the end, unfortunately. All right, you guys see this one show up every month. It's the ColourPop little quad. This is called Down to Earth. The reason I use it like every single month is I use this specifically for my eyeliner wing, which, you know, I'm wearing right now. And I use this almost every day. I tend to use like a dark eyeshadow instead of straight up eyeliner. It just helps me control it better. It's better for my aging skin. And this is the perfect quad to do it with. It's so handy and portable. It slides right into my little organizer on my vanity, so I can reach for it easily. And then I can also use some of those darker browns to like smoke things out a little under the eyes. They're all just kind of the perfect color for that. So I pretty much use this mostly as an eyeliner quad. So not a bad one. The reason it's just at the bottom is that everything else was just very much inspiring me, and like I was enjoying working with so much that it just fell behind those, but it is very useful for me. Okay, coming in at 21, we are ranking this pretty low, guys. I do enjoy the palette though. I don't want to like send it back. I've had a few people suggest to send it back. Like I'm glad I have it. This is the Danessa Myricks, fairly new, her Groundworks Blooming Romance palette. And I got it thinking this would be great for my professional makeup kit, because with her pomades in here and also powders, I thought, you know, it would be very versatile for working in my kit. I could do eyeliner and brows. You were supposed to be able to do lips and cheeks with it too, I think. And then of course the eyeshadow, and it makes creamy eyeshadow or powder eyeshadow. And it was very pretty, springy, pinky colors. Ended up, I didn't feel it was nearly so versatile. Like I would never use this for lips or cheeks. The formula just isn't there for it. And the formula, in my opinion, is barely there for the eyeshadow. I don't feel it blends that great. It's a neat concept, what she's done, and I think the colors are pretty, but I also feel like the colors are fairly limited. Same color story over and over again. So it's just not as versatile, and I'm just not as impressed with it as I thought I'd be, but I do still like it. I still have use for it. I still enjoy it. It's just ranked towards the bottom of all these other amazing palettes, in my opinion. Next, I used another MAC palette. This is the Timeless Treasure, I think is the name of it. Is that right? No, that's just the name of one of the, I don't know what the name of this one is, but the color story is more, it's a lot of neutrals, but then you've got like almost a plum color there too. And it's just, it makes very everyday wearable looks, and it's super friendly for travel, very convenient. I like the little pink design on it, and it's MAC. So I love it. It's just, it's going to be your kind of standard everyday palette. This is sort of like an essentials palette. You know, so it's functional, but it's not like the most exciting, right? Okay, next, you guys saw me bring you the Flower Beauty line in my PR video. This is the line by Drew Barrymore. It's a very affordable line, like really cute packaging and everything. And I really liked the formula. This one, I have two different ones. There's another one that's ranking a little higher than this, but this is kind of more of the beiges and like warmer tones here. This one was called Petal Play. Is that the name of this one? Or Gilded Lily. Gilded Lily, maybe? Yeah. And it was super cute. I love that little shimmer right there. The perfect like little portable quad. Very friendly for travel. So cute. And I was impressed with how it performed on the eyes. So, and it was a great like everyday look. The only downside I'd say to it is just the packaging's a little cheap, in my opinion, like kind of plasticky and stuff, but the actual eyeshadow itself, I thought performed great. All right, next we have what I'm wearing right now. So I'll let this, I haven't taken a picture yet because I just put this on my eyes. So I'll let this serve as my picture. You can see it in real life, or not in real life, but in real time. Yeah. So, cute. Oh, let me tell you what it is. It's the Violet Voss Pretty in Paradise palette. We got it in BoxyCharm, a lot of us. Here it is on the inside. I've also got the blush on, more of this sandy color one, not the bright pink one. So I have both of those that I'm wearing today. So you can see that I used that little bit of like seafoam green as just a tiny little pop of color. And then I used most of the shimmers, honestly, in this. They're really pretty. I like those middle ones. And I have on this one as my transition right now. I ended up ranking it slightly higher than I think I did last month or whatever month it was I tried it out, because I do really like it for days like today. Like I just feel like, you know, I'm wearing kind of like a seafoam green, and it just, I was feeling the color too. And I kind of liked how it looks and blends, and I can still make other colors, not just that green one, to make an everyday and kind of like sandier look, or I can do that little pop of green. So I liked it all right. So it ranked, I think, a little higher this time. All right, next I did Natasha Denona, the Sunrise palette. Now, when I first got this palette, this was my first Natasha Denona palette, and I thought I was just somebody. And I love my Natasha Denona. Like, that's probably my top brand of all, to be honest with you, my number one. Sorry about the trucks outside. But working with it this time, I wasn't as like excited. I ended up making like this very summery look. I was just feeling summer and all. Of all of her palettes, I think this is my least favorite one. I still enjoy it. I love my Natasha Denona. There's no way I will declutter it or get rid of it. I can tell you that. I think it's the mattes in it. I'm not as crazy about the mattes in this one, and I don't feel like they perform as well as some of her other palettes. I'm okay with the shimmers a little bit. And then the color story, I just don't wear that much of either, like unless I go with the very like lighter ones. So it just isn't as up there as a top favorite. Okay, next, I can't believe I have this above Natasha Denona, but the other Flower Beauty palette. This is the other one that I got from the Drew Barrymore line, and that pretty little pink, that soft pink, is just so pretty. It's so delicate. I feel like the picture just doesn't really bring out how shimmery and like delicate that little pink shimmer was. It's so pretty. I loved it. So it ranked quite a bit higher, actually. We're coming in at what, number 16? Yeah, above Natasha Denona. Imagine that. And again, it's portable for travel and just super cute. Wow, even higher than that is an Ipsy Glam Bag one. I can't believe this. I'm usually not as like into the Ipsy Glam Bag, you know, palettes as much, just because they're like a little small, little extra something they put in there. But this month, when I played with it and I did the try on video, I loved this thing. I loved it. I loved that little pop of blue there. That was the perfect pop of blue. And I feel like it's gonna be such a fun summer palette, and it's still small and portable. And I loved how it blended. I loved playing with it. And so I ended up being super impressed with this one. So this has come in at number 15. Yeah. Next, we have some Ofra. This is the Ofra Black Friday palette. It's all like cool tone grays, you know, very like smoky, very like holiday friendly in my opinion. It reminds me a lot, color story wise, like, I don't know, those grays and cool tones of, you know, the Xenon palette with Natasha Denona, but the formula is not there like the Natasha Denona is. Now, I actually work well with this palette though. I like it, and I've used it in my bridal makeup before too. And one thing I love about it is that white right there. That's always what I need to make that very light, bright, highlighty, but smoky eye. And so this has been great for that. So and that's what I created, was like, you know, a smoky look one day. So I still love that palette. I do find use for it. But then I ranked the Signature palette. What is this? Signature palette Luxe, a little bit above it. This one is the complete opposite. It's warmer tones. What I did was, so this is that Rodeo Drive highlighter in the middle there, but you can use it as eyeshadow. And so this time I used it as my eyeshadow. Last time I think I used it for highlight, and this time I used it actually on my lid. And I ended up loving this warm, glowing look that it created. And there is nothing like O for highlight, guys. So then putting that on your eyes, like, it was awesome. So it only makes one specific look pretty much though, you know, like, I mean, I'm only going to get that like really gold glowing look, but I love the glowing look. So that's why I ranked it a little higher. Okay, next, coming in at number 12. I don't know if this counts as a palette because it's only a single, but I'm still going to count it because it was eyeshadow. This is the Dior Mono, what do they call it? Mono single something or other. They're single palettes, basically. They're little single eyeshadows. This is the shade 826 Rose Montagne, and it's a satin finish. And this was part of my haul when I did the pink lilac collection. I went ahead and grabbed this one with it and tried it out. And I loved this pink. It was so beautiful, so shimmery and satin, and just absolutely luxurious feeling on the eyes. But it's only one color, so it's like, should I really even rank this? But I still have to because I love it so much. So I'm still going to include it, and it ranks at what, like 12? Yeah, my number 12. All right, then we have the Il Makiage Boss Babe, and this is the, or Color Boss Squad, excuse me. This one was, what shade was this one? Workaholic 991. We've talked about this in the Ipsy videos, that we might be getting this in June or another shade range, and we're not sure. I still love it though. I love the Il Makiage formula. I love how especially that shimmer feels, and even though it's, you know, just a quad and it only makes, you know, one color story pretty much, or maybe two, like I just love it, and I reach for this all the time. And it's mostly portable, even if it's a little heavier packaging, but it's such a luxe, like luxurious packaging feeling to it, you know, like that's probably what part of the price tag is on it, is just the packaging alone. And so it's still perfect for every day, but it's like luxury every day. Like I still love it. And then similarly, I have the Tom Ford. It's that shimmer still that just gets me. I love it. I really don't use this a lot for the green in there. It's more the neutral colors, but they're just so pretty. Like I just feel so pretty, like a pretty little princess when I wear this luxurious palette. Do I think it's worth like the $90? No, but it still ranks as one of my favorite palettes because of just the luxurious feeling of it. That's how I know how to describe it. And it's great for like an everyday, but like a very light, like silky everyday. That's the best way I know how to describe it. Okay, and then I love this Dominique Cosmetics Essential palette that we got from an Ipsy Icon box 1 month. It is just so pretty, isn't it? Now it does come out with slightly more like mauve-y or like lavendery tones on me, because of course I'm always drawn to these, like these three right here, but you can also do a little bit smoky over here. Now it's not ultra pigmented is the downside of it, but it's okay to me because it's like, I do really like, for these everyday looks and very soft, like elegant looks, sometimes I love very just subtle, soft, but I think it's the packaging too gets me. It feels luxurious to me too. Like it's just really pretty, you know, and I love the pretty colors in it. It's still like, even though it's got some warms in it, it still has some cool tones. Like yeah. But then you got a little bit of warm tones on the end there. I don't know, it's so nice. So yeah, I love this one. Okay, then I still love my Patrick Ta. Now this has more of like a mirror on the top, so I'm gonna go ahead and just open it. I kind of compared this one to the Danessa Myricks one. It just reminded me of it because they were like kind of those rosy colors and had a few creams in them, but this one blends so much better. It is so pretty. It is like a dream in how it blends and how it works. Like I love the formula on this Patrick Ta palette. I think the only thing is just the color story is a little limited. It's all that like fairly rose gold shades, but so you can't make a lot of different colors, but it's still one of my favorite palettes. I love this palette. And next, the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. I used this month to create my fun little Zendaya look from the Met Gala, the look that she did. I just wanted to recreate it, and I used this one for it, and it still remains one of my favorite palettes because of how versatile it is. There's just so many shades in it that just work so well, especially for like bridal makeup, pro makeup, a lot of the pink and burgundy shades, but some neutrals too. And every now and then, if you want a pop of blue or green, or you make smoky eyes, like you could just do just about almost everything you could ask for in professional makeup with just this palette. So because it's still so versatile, it's one of my favorites and at the top of my list still. So, and I still like the formula in it. Like I still feel like I can work pretty well with it. Okay, next, I don't know if this counts or not as a palette, but I'm still gonna count it. This is some of the Jeffree Star singles that I just got out of his spring mystery box. And then I paired them with this topper, the Stardacity topper. Oh my gosh, I was so in love. I was so in love with that look. I know it's like kind of limited. There's not a lot here. I went ahead and put them in my little magnetic palette, but I love, like I said before, I love the Jeffree Star formula. I always have. And it just works so well for like the pro makeup I do. It makes fabulous looks. And I end up making a lot of like everyday looks with it, or like really pretty soft glam looks with it, more than like ultra wild crazy ones, honestly. And I just love, love, love his formula. And so I know it's kind of cheating because this isn't a real palette. It's like singles that make up a palette. And then the topper, I'm probably honestly basing my opinion and how high this is ranking because of this topper. The topper like made the look. It was so pretty, but I'm still going to count it because of just the feelings that it gave me. I loved it. Okay, guys, we're coming down to the top 5 now. So I have realized I've started seeing this trend when I do my rankings, and you will have noticed in some of my other months that I have really ranked Ciate London very high. And I've talked about how I really love Ciate London palettes. I've heard other folks who are not fans and don't like them, or they tend to declutter them, and I end up loving them. I think they're just right up my alley on the color stories, and I really kind of like the formula, like working with it. It's that, I don't want to say powdery, but like it almost reminds me of the Il Maquillage formula a little bit, maybe. I don't know how to describe it, but I really, really enjoy all of the Ciate London palettes I have. And I think I'm probably going to end up collecting them. So this is one of them. You'll see another one in a minute, even higher than this. But this is that Spice palette we got back, I think it was the fall season one year with BoxyCharm. And what I love about it though is it looks very like it's only going to be burgundies, but there's so many like soft lighter colors in there around the edge here that like you can make a very soft, just neutral look. And it ends up being a nice, like, it's not like ultra pigmented. So it's not like you're wearing these bright like purple on your eyes or bright burgundy. It ends up making this very soft pinky look with these and that shimmer right there together. It just is so pretty and the perfect color story for me. So this is actually a palette that's way up there for me. It's all my, like some of my favorite colors I'd reach for all the way, and just how it ends up looking on me, and I feel really pretty in it. I think that's what I base a lot of my opinion on, is how pretty I feel in these palettes. And then another one that I've really discovered through Ipsy as well in our BoxyCharms is the Wander Beauty line. I've come to discover I love Wander Beauty too. And so this one's the Trailblazer palette. I think, you know, I've ranked it pretty high in other ones too. This is my number 4 this month, guys. So way up there. There is something about Wander Beauty. I love their palettes. I'm so drawn to them. They're so shimmery and pretty. Look at that. It's just so like girly. This one has a little pop of green. It looks really ultra green in the palette, but it comes off as like a really pretty, almost rusty green on the eyes. Very subtle still. Like I probably wouldn't be wearing bright green in my opinion. Like unless I'm making a specific artistic look, I'm not going to go around wearing neon green. It's just not going to be me. But this makes this perfect little subtle pop of green in there mixed in with like these neutrals, and you've also got like the pretty pink there. So it is just such a pretty palette to me. I love it. So I have come to like fall in love with another. This is another one I'll probably collect and be thrilled to get any of the Wander Beauty palettes. Love it. Okay, we're getting down to the last three. Another one that I'm just so in love with, Be Bella, this Lotus Love palette. Look at that. It is just so pretty. So pretty. And I think this was in the Slay beauty box, maybe. Absolutely stunning. I can't get over it. It is so beautiful. Let me show you the look that I created. It's usually always like pinks that I make. You'll notice I love pinks, and these, you know, you'll see pink a lot from me. You've probably started noticing that if you've been watching my rankings videos. But yes, I am just absolutely in love with this palette. I love the shimmers. It's very pigmented. They just go on beautifully, buttery, and just so pretty and girly. So all the way. It was hard starting to rank all of these guys. It's getting to like the hard part. And this may have been my number one last month, but it was up there, whatever it was. And that's the Soul Mane 2 palette from Odin's Eye. I still love it so much. Another one that is just gorgeous. Look at that. Oh, it's like jewels on the eyes. And I think this time I made more with the orange in here. I think I was wearing orange, so I went with like orangey, and it was still just so beautiful. I mean, I'm most drawn probably to like that middle row with like this one here, the pinks and lavenders, but those blues just make, oh my gosh, so it's just so pretty. Like words can't even describe. I love this palette so much. Okay, that leaves us with number one. You guys might actually be very surprised to find out my number one above even these palettes. Like I said, remember what I told you about how I love, you know, my style. My style is just very soft glam, and I tend towards palettes that can be everyday looks, but also very soft glam, really pretty looks, and that make me feel really pretty. I'm in love with this palette, Ciate London 1. I told you guys I've fallen in love with Ciate London. So the I Am Woman palette that we got in BoxyCharm. So for those who got this palette, do you guys agree with me? Do you love it, or do you think I'm crazy? I would love to know. You won't offend me if you tell me like, I don't see it. It is just, it's the mix of so many shimmers in there, I think, that are all like my kinds of colors. Like I love that you've got some soft pinks, and you've got some like burgundies and purples, but then you also have these kind of like grungy almost colors is the best way I know how to describe them over here. Like these are the perfect, they're not even super warm tone, but they're like that rusty, like, oh my gosh, it makes every kind of like pretty party look I would want, but then it also makes pretty wearable looks as well. And it's got everything in the palette that is me. I love it. And I like working with the formula too. And so this one ranks my number one. And I understand if you guys are like, what? Because some of these other formulas and like some of the indie brands that are just so like, wow, so buttery, and even like Natasha Denona, you know, it's my number one because of how much I'm going to reach for it, and how, you know, how much I'm inspired to make just really pretty looks like for like everyday or party. So yeah, this is my number one for the month. So BoxyCharm for the win, guys. As much as we've talked about some mixed reviews on our BoxyCharm and some of the palettes, this is my number one. So yeah, so that's it. What do you guys think? Let me know. If you want to continue seeing my eyeshadow palette rankings, how I rank them all, I love to do this, and I like to provide you with all the looks. I kind of keep up with them throughout the month so that I can bring you guys this video. If you love that, you'll want to stick around and pop that subscribe so that you don't miss more of it in the future, and more of my declutters, because I have a rule for myself that when any of my drawers of eyeshadow palettes fill up, it's time for the declutter. So stick around for those. You'll see how hard it is for me. So that's it. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.